Hey world, I'm going to talk to you about the new vampire movie, Daybreakers. Okay, so I saw it because I'm a big vampire fan, but not the Stephenie Meyer kind of vampire. I don't think vampires should sparkle. They shouldn't. They should die in the sun. They should spontaneously combust. Which is great, because that's what they do in Daybreakers. I honestly don't think I've seen a vampire movie this good since I watched Queen of the Damned or Interview with the Vampire. Like, they've been pretty lacking. Underworld, I enjoy them. I enjoy that trilogy. I'm just saying, it's not as good. There was tons of blood, which there should be in a vampire movie. And it wasn't overdone either. It was really realistic. The whole movie was really realistic. If you believe in vampires anyway. Most people would be like, well, if vampires took over the world, how are they gonna get around? This movie answers all of those questions! Oh, it's so exciting! They have underground tunnels, they have cameras on top of their cars, and like these really UV repellent, actually all sun ray repellent, windows on their cars, and they have like a day mode for driving. But most people don't do that, they just walk underground. It's like a subway system, but with sidewalks. It's just a path. And it's great! And it makes so much sense that they would do that. And it also makes sense that vampires, if they took over the world, would harvest humans. And that makes perfect sense to me. If there are vampires in the world, they just take over and then change the people who want to be changed, and the people who don't, they harvest their blood. So there's like this blood supply that keeps coming, you know? Well, obviously it doesn't keep coming because the whole movie is about how do they solve the blood shortage. Human blood is obviously the most nutritious kind of blood. They drink animal blood and everything, but it's not quite the same, and it doesn't taste the same apparently. So the vampires want human blood, or else they change into these really nasty looking creatures that look like the old school vampires, that kind of look like bats. They showed one of the vampires in prison like degenerating into this awful creature, and I thought he looked like a meth addict in a couple of the things, and I mean the final result kind of looks like a meth addict with like fleshy wings that span from his wrist to his ankle. But they're creepy looking. They are, and I wouldn't want to be around one of them. And the whole movie is about them trying to find a supplement for human blood, or just the rest of the humans, so that they can survive longer. Because apparently eternity doesn't last forever if you don't have blood to drink. Main character is named Edward, which I know is a lot of people's main issue with this movie, but think about it, guys. If their main issue is with the main character's name, the movie has to be pretty darn good, right? And I agree, okay? I really wish they had picked another name besides Edward. Edward's a common name, guys. It's not like they saw Twilight and were like, oh, we're gonna name our character the same thing. Or maybe they did. They did want to try to get in on the Twilight thing, but I really think that a lot of the Twilight fans would see the preview for Daybreakers and be like, oh, vampires aren't like that. Oh, they're not hot. They're not sexy. Oh, they don't want to love me. They want to eat me. Which would frighten them because they're dumb teenage girls. One thing I really, really liked about the vampires in this movie is they weren't all really attractive. They looked exactly like they did when they were human, which makes sense to me. Okay, I know in a lot of other movies, even Anne Rice ones, the vampires are all hot. They're all hot people. Does that mean that vampires only change attractive people? No! No! They change everyone! I really liked the fact that they kept some old people in there and some just average looking people, some fat people. I liked that. This alternate blood source, some of them are also looking for a cure because they don't like being a vampire. Like the main character, he was unwillingly turned, but I'm not gonna tell you how or by whom. And I think that I don't know if I like the idea of a cure for vampirism, because it's supposed to be forever. It's supposed to be for eternity. And the way they find the cure is, you have to watch the movie and then tell me what you think, because I like it. I think it was a good twist on the classic vampire thing. But obviously doesn't make them seem as permanent as they are, or they should be. So that was my qualm with that. But the acting, solid. There's nobody who's really, really well known. I mean, unless like Jurassic Park, and then you know who Sam Neill is. I thought it was really good. It was well done. No big names, really. I really liked William Dafoe's character. He was so funny. Oh my goodness. But they were good. really good. It was a good, solid cast. There was some pretty good cinematography. I really liked a couple of the shots, especially the slow motion ones. Usually in movies like this, or like with monsters or anything, Twilight, slow-mo is overused. But it wasn't in this one. It was just in a couple shots, and they were actually really funny because they were in slow-mo. That's another thing. This vampire movie had humor in it. It made me laugh a couple times. One thing I didn't like about this movie, besides Ethan Hawke's character being named Edward, was the end. It left me wanting. It was just really awkward and kind of just stopped. They were like, oh, what do we do now? Ah, just cut. Just cut. We're done. That'll be it. It'll be fine. No, that's not how you end movies. Around, it was a really solid vampire movie, and I really liked it. See it if you like gore and vampires. Real vampires who like real vampires. Go see it. I think it's a good time. If you like the whole Twilight fantasy thing, don't go see this because it'll ruin it. It'll crush your dreams. I want to